Hi everyone and welcome back to, I think this is day 5 now of January Jumpstart. So, hope you've been enjoying the videos so far and that you're finding stuff that you can use in them. Today I thought we would have a little look at going from the gross to the subtle. And when I say gross, I'm setting my timer again. I don't mean something that's disgusting or unpleasant. I mean the sensations that are quite obvious. So, for example, if we're standing, or as I am now, I'm sitting, I know that my bum is on the floor. Or if you're standing, you know that your feet are on the floor. But what about the subtle sensations, like when you're doing a balance or something? You're aware or become aware of the subtle sensations of how your feet are slightly moving to constantly correct to help you balance, or the little shifts that you're making when you sit so that you are able to sit more comfortably. So we're going to have a little look at that today. Just go at your own pace, respect your body's limits, and most of all, enjoy. So feel free to sit up on a block or a cushion. I'm going to start in a comfortable cross-legged position and breathe. So we can line up the back of the head with the back of the pelvis and just take a moment to check in. Let's just breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And do that twice more, please. Perhaps noticing the gross sensation of breathing out through the mouth, of not forcing, but noting that the air comes out of the mouth quite forcefully when you breathe out through the mouth. And then we can breathe in and out through the nose, which can be more subtle. There's less force required. And see if you can tune into any differences that you notice between breathing out through the mouth and breathing out through the nose. Gently tuning in and being aware of what's there. Sometimes sensations can be so subtle that they are beneath our awareness. You may be aware at the moment of your sitting bones on the ground. Can you tune into your feet where they touch the ground? If you have your hands on your knees, as I have, what feedback are your knees giving you, or your hands? The movement of the air in your chest, or how the air feels as it goes in through your nostrils. Noting the gross and the subtle sensations. I'll go through our mantra again. Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. I bow to the subtle divine wisdom. I bow to the teacher within. I bow to the subtle divine wisdom. I bow to the teacher within. I bow to the subtle divine wisdom. I bow to the teacher within. Let's take a couple of more breaths, please. And if your eyes were closed, just let them flutter open. Let's give the shoulders a little bit of a wriggle. Noticing what you notice there. And we can start by just circling the spine around to the right. Moving the spine around. So we're waking up the nerve endings as we're moving pretty much the entire structure of the spine. And now let's go the other way. What do you notice between each side as you're moving the entire spine around? Are you aware of any nerve endings doing things? Let's come back to centre. Let's breathe in as we lift the arms up, and as we breathe out, let's bring the arms around to the right. So left hand to the outside of the right knee, and the right hand sits behind the right hip at a bit of a distance. We're just going to stay. Have the chin in line with the sternum, so you're not having to crank the neck around. What do you notice? The difference between moving the spine a lot and then keeping the spine straight but in a different position. Let's bring the head back to centre as we breathe in. Right hand comes to the left knee. Let's breathe in again, and as we breathe out, fold forwards as far as is comfortable. So there may be a lot of strong or gross sensations in your hips and subtler sensations as well. Let's breathe in as we reach up, and we're going to go to the left. As we breathe out, right hand to the left knee, left hand is behind the left hip. Each time we breathe in, we let the spine lengthen. Each time we breathe out, we just let the spine twist that a little bit further. The gross or the strong, if you prefer, with the subtle. One strong movement of the actual movement of the spine in this twist, and then the subtle movement, the gentle continuation of the twist with each breath. Let's breathe in, bring the head back to centre, and then breathe out as we bring the left hand to the right knee. Breathe in to lengthen the spine, and breathe out to fold forwards. Let's breathe in, come back into our centre. Breathe in to reach up, and let's breathe out. Let's send the hands behind the hips, and then we can send the chest forwards. If you're feeling it, if the gross sensations are telling you, I'm strong enough to do this, maybe come up on the knees. And whether or not you came up, let's come back down to the floor. Bring the knees in front of you. Let's swing them round to the side, and let's do our cat-cow. So, hands and knees are in contact with the floor. Maybe the tops of your feet, or maybe the toes are tucked. It depends on your knees. So shoulders are over knees, and no, they're not. That will be quite interesting. Hips are over knees and shoulders are over wrists, with a nice crease in the wrist facing the front of the mat, and your forefingers also face the front of the mat. Notice what's there in your knees and your hands, from the gross to the subtle. The simple act of supporting you to the tiny, tiny changes in balance that your knees and your hands are performing for you. So let's lower the belly as we breathe in, raise the head. And breathe out, arch the back, navel to spine. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in, noticing the gross sensations of the big movement of the spine, whilst being aware of the subtler sensations. Let's do one more cat-cow. And now let's bring the hands, the spine even back to neutral alignment and just feel how that feels. What do you notice in your spine, which has been moving quite a lot and now it's in stillness? What is there to be noticed? If your toes are flat on the floor, let's curl them under. And pressing down through the hands, we bring the hips up and back. Keeping the arms and the spine straight. The shoulders are away from the ears. Pressing down with the hands. So press the hands down and imagine you're trying to unscrew the lid of a jar. You're turning the hands towards each other. Your hips are moving up and back. You can bend your knees to send your hips as high as they will go. Oops, my hand moved. That was a gross sensation of my hand moving. And then aim to straighten the knees. Your heels can be off the floor. So what are you noticing in your body? Yes, you may be thinking, this is hard. This is a lot going on. But what can you notice on a subtler level? Let's take one more breath here. And then as we breathe in, we can look up and we can walk the hands to the feet. Let's bend the knees as much as we need to bring the hands to the floor. Then we can bring the hands up to the knees and bring ourselves up to stand. So we're going to look at our mountain pose. There we go, that's better. So our feet are about hip width apart, and that's roughly 2 fist distance. We can lift up our toes, bring them back, aim them towards the shins, and feel how your knees will lift. The muscles of the front of your thighs will engage and activate. And then, starting from the little toe on each foot, see if you can press each toe down into the floor. Plenty of space between each toe. And let's find our mountain pose. Everything is stacked from shoulders over hips, over heels. The hips is tilting up slightly. The lower ribs are coming down. Our chin is level with the floor. Palms are pointing outwards. Pointing forwards. Just noticing what's here. Perhaps the gross sensation you can feel is your feet as they press into the floor. Perhaps a subtle sensation is the slight alterations in balance that your feet are constantly making. Perhaps you can feel the muscles in your arms, the upper arms, turning your palms outwards. And the subtle sensation might be the air against your skin. Let's bring the hands down to the side, and as we breathe in, let's reach them up. Breathe out, bend the knees as much as you need to forward fold. Breathe in, send the chest forwards, and as we breathe out, let's plant the hands, send the right foot back, and let's come down on the right knee. Let's come up onto the left thigh and turn the sternum, so the centre of the chest, towards the left leg. Tailbone is going to point down. As we breathe in, let's reach the arms up. Maybe, if it's comfortable, you can reach up and back, noticing the sensations. Press the hands back into the floor. We step back into our downward facing dog. Does this feel different from the last one? As we press the hands down and we press the balls of the feet down, keeping the neck long. We can look up And send the right foot forwards and the left knee down. Walk ourselves upright on our right thigh, tailbone down. As we breathe in, we lift the arms, shoulders are back and down. Maybe as we breathe in, we can reach back. And then we press the hands into the floor. We come into our plank, maybe with the knees down. And whichever version we choose, we can lower to the floor, elbows pointing back towards the feet, rolling the shoulders back and down, pressing the tops of the feet into the floor as we lift up the chest into cobra. Let's breathe out. Come back through tabletop to downward dog. And then we look up. We can walk or step our feet to the top of the mat. Breathe out to fold. Bend the knees as much as you need. Then bend the knees quite a lot as we reach all the way up. And then bring the hands to the heart. How are we doing for time? We can do that again. So let's breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, send the chest forwards. This time we're going to send the left leg back. Knee to the floor. Bring ourselves up. So this time let's notice what's here. We have the gross sensation of all of that stretching going on in the back hip. Step it back to downward facing dog. And what is the subtle sensation that you can feel? We breathe in to look up. This time the left foot comes forwards. Let's go for the sensations in the right leg as we breathe in. Maybe we reach backwards a bit. Breathe out, hands come to the floor. And we step back into our plank. You can have your knees on the floor if you prefer. Bending the elbows back towards the feet. Roll the shoulders back and down. Press the tops of the feet in the floor. Drag the hands back towards the feet as you lift the chest. And then let's bring ourselves back into child's pose for a moment. So hips come to the heels. If your hips don't meet your heels, then please pop a block or a cushion between them. And just be aware of the sensations, the gross sensations, the stronger sensations, and tune into the subtle sensations. We breathe in, let's come back to tabletop. Tip the hips up into downward facing dog, and then we're just going to walk our way to the top of the mat. Bend our knees, come all the way up, and then bring the hands in front of the chest. So 2 things we're going to do to really check, excuse me, just adjusting, to check our ability to tune in to the gross and the subtle. Let's find our mountain pose to begin with, coming into tree pose. So let's transfer the weight to the left leg, be light on the right foot, and bring the right foot to the top of the left foot, maybe the calf, or maybe press the right foot into the left shin. No, into the left thigh. I do know my anatomy, I've just decided not to. So see if you can bring your hip bones upwards and maybe bring your hands in front of your heart. If you really want a challenge and find the grossest and most subtle sensations, close your eyes. That's what happens. That is what happens. Okay, so if your eyes were closed, well done, please open them. Let's bring the right knee to the front and place the leg down. Notice the difference between each leg. So now let's get light on the left foot as we transfer the weight to the right leg. So the left foot can sit on top of the right foot. It can be at the shin, just not the knee, or maybe it snuggles against the right thigh. So tipping the hips up, aiming to keep the hips level. Bring the hands in front of the heart. So pressing foot against thigh and thigh against foot. Pressing into the ball of the big toe of the right foot and the ball of the little toe and the back of the heel. And again, to challenge your balance, close your eyes. Lots of gross and subtle sensations all happening at once. So if your eyes were closed, again, well done. Please open them. Bring the knee back to the front and then set the legs down. Take a moment in our mountain pose. Check in. What's here? So another little balance pose. Let's turn to face the short edge of our mat and move back a bit. Bring the hands to the hips and then keeping this train track alignment of the feet, just send the right foot back and be on the tips of your toes. Try and keep the hips pointing forward and keep them balanced. Going to reach back and take the foot in the hand. So we want the thumb and the big toe touching. We can lift up the left arm and then kick the foot into the hand and reach forwards. This is our dancer pose. If your dancer doesn't look like this, your dancer can look like this, or maybe like this, or perhaps you have a strap or a tie or something just around your foot to help it lift up. Let's just make sure that our hips are pointing forwards and that they are roughly equal. Maybe join the first finger and the thumb together on your left hand. And then release. And turn around so you can see on this side. So train tracks again. Send the left foot back. We keep the hips even and pointing forwards. So this may be your dancer, or maybe with your arms up. Maybe you just bring the foot close to your bum. Or we grab hold of the foot, thumb next to big toe, kick the foot into the hand, trying to keep the hips even and pointing forwards with a slight bend in the front knee. Lots and lots and lots of different sensations. Let's breathe in. Let's come back down and tune in again, just for a moment. Okay, and now very simply, we're going to sit. So, let's take our legs out in front, roll the shoulders back and down, press the hands into the floor and bring the toes to point towards the shins. Let's breathe out as we reach forwards. Let's breathe in as we reach up. Breathe out to reach forwards. Breathe in to reach up. This time as we breathe out, just bring the hands to wherever is comfortable. Hinging forwards from the hips. If your knees are bent, that's fine. You may wish to put a blanket or a block underneath them. And just see what's here. What's going on in your legs. From the most obvious sensation to the tiniest sensation. Let's breathe in as we come back up. Let's place the feet flat on the floor and have our hands behind our hips, and let's breathe in and send the hips up. If you're feeling it today, you can stretch out the legs and continue to lift the hips up, doing what's right for your body at this moment. Whichever version you are in, let's bring the hips back down to the floor, and we can lie down with a little bit of core work. So pressing the feet into the floor. Take a breath in, keep tipping the tailbone up, keep scooping the pelvis up. Keep scooping, keep scooping, keep scooping, and with control we come down to the floor. A lot of sensations there. So let's have our knees about mat width and just let them fall over to the left and to the right. Over to the left and the right. Tuning into whatever is there. And the next time you move over to the left, stay put. You may wish to hook your left ankle over your right knee. Maybe you can lift your right arm up. Or just keep it out at the side. And then let's release, bring the knees back to centre. And just rock from side to side. And the next time you land over on the right, stay put. Maybe the right foot hooks over the left knee and the left arm might reach up above the head, feeling what there is to feel. And let's release the legs, bring them back to our train track alignment. Have the feet quite close into the hips. Maybe your fingertips can graze the back of your heels. Let's have the hands out to the side. Press the feet firmly into the ground as we breathe in. And we lift the hips all the way up. And as we breathe out, let's start to peel the spine back down onto the floor. Nice and gently, so the last bit to touch is the pelvis. Let's bring the knees into the chest. Have a little rock from side to side. Maybe lift up the head towards the knees. And then bring the feet back down to the floor. So if you wish, you can extend your legs into our Shavasana, or you can remain with the feet mat width and the knees touching, or roll to one side. Use your top arm to bring you upright. And I'm going to cross my legs the other way than I did at the beginning, as I just take a moment now to tune in. Noticing what is obviously different. I feel like I've stretched various bits. I feel like I've used some muscles in my arms. And the subtle differences. I feel a bit calmer. And a little bit happier than when I started. So see if you can notice any differences. If you can, great. If you can't, great. Just take a few moments to breathe. If you are lying down, please bend up your knees and then roll to one side. Use your top hand to help push you up and join us in a seated position with the other leg in front, please. Let's breathe in, reach up, breathe out, hands to heart. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Thank you so much for joining me today for our brief exploration of gross and subtle sensation. I hope that this helps you to tune into big stuff and little stuff, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you. Namaste.